Someone who isn't afraid of dragons. Someone who can feel dragons in their presence. Someone who can destroy metal death. That was very dramatic. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be reading you some of my childhood writing as a part of my Reading My Old Writing series. Today we are delving into my 9-year-old mind who conjured a vision of an epic fantasy series tailored around dragons and defeating this evil, corrupted dragon. And in the small amount of it she actually managed to write, a dragon appears like once, which is very disappointing. This piece of writing that I considered to be a novel when I was 9 is called The Discovery of Dragons, except discovery is spelled discovery. I have made previous videos of this Reading My Old Writing series, one of which is on Private, the other of which you can still watch, and it's all about my 12-year-old dystopic series which made no sense. So I'll leave a card to that above if you're interested in seeing it. I really had an artistic vision with this trilogy. Each book was going to be about slowly defeating this corrupted dragon who had this evil armor put on it that had possessed it, and each book was going to be taking off one bit of armor off the dragon. The dragon was called Metal Death, and it was actually a really good dragon, but it had been corrupted. Looking at this logically, if that was all that happened in one book, you defeated one bit of armor off the dragon, it would be super boring. You could just combine that into the one book and call it a day. But nevertheless, this was my vision. I read approximately 36 pages of the first book, the pages being this big. I wrote this story in a pink Smiggle notebook, which also features some of the planning for names of dragons in the back. And I hate them all. Such as Rainbow Ruby, Black Flame, Ripple Emerald, Soul Sinker, and Wolf Howler. I'm ashamed of the last one. If this back room could please stop producing so many creepy noises. I had that whole Inosuke incident where there was a demon on the roof. There's a demon on the roof. And I had a dream about that last night. Whatever that was can just stop. We've also got some creepy drawings in the back. Another one of the dragon names I just found is Death Moonstar. That sounds like a My Little Pony, but I don't know. And if you want proof of how good of a writer I was at this age, just listen to this diary entry I made. Monday, 9 of April. Today, I woke up. It was the day. That's the whole thing. Without further explanation, let me try and explain to you what the beginning of this novel is. I tried to make a video of the logical way of doing it, which is just sitting through and reading this to you and making funny comments on it. But it is a nightmare to read, genuinely, so I'm not going to put you through that. Instead, I'm going to summarize this nonsense. Otherwise, this video will be intolerable to get through. Chapter 1 is called The Holiday. We meet our protagonist, Rebecca Collins. The first thing we learn about her is that she believes in dragons. She loved dragons. She drew dragons. She wrote stories about dragons. She would do anything to find one. There was one problem. Brace yourselves for this. Because she believed in dragons, her parents didn't like her. They loved her, but found her annoying. Well, that's depressing. This kid is so obsessed with dragons that her family is just sick of her and find her so annoying. What if dragons are like her special interest or something? She's just really hyper-fixated on them. Like, these parents are really shitty. Or maybe the kid just genuinely needs to shut up. Who am I to say? Now, Rebecca Collins believes in dragons because she saw one once. She told her mum that she'd seen a dragon in the sky, and her mum basically made a whole bunch of excuses as to, you know, explain that it wasn't really a dragon in the sky, because if a kid tells you there's a dragon in the sky, you're probably not going to believe them. But I get the feeling that Rebecca is really bitter about this. The whole first page is basically dedicated to her being like, but I really did see a dragon though. Rebecca also has a brother called Nathan, who I get the vibe doesn't really believe in dragons, but pretends to out of fear of his own safety. The parents then announce during dinner that they're going on a holiday. And the kids are like, yeah, a holiday! But get this, the kids aren't coming. Cue chapter 2, the plan. The kids are really weirdly mad that their parents are going on a holiday without them and that they're gonna have to stay at their grandma's. So Rebecca and Nathan are brushing their teeth and they can hear their parents packing in the next room because apparently they're like leaving for this holiday tomorrow. They just suddenly plan this for tomorrow. And they can hear the sound of their parents like unzipping a suitcase. Nathan then starts talking about how their parents own a giant, huge suitcase and says, you could probably fit a person in there. No, not one person, but 2 people in there. Then Rebecca says, Nathan, you're a genius, said Rebecca. What do you mean? Said Nathan confusedly. I've got an idea. Can you tell where this is going? It's probably not going where you're expecting, because this is where stuff starts to get real bizarre. Chapter 3 is called 1, 2, Jump. Okay. Let me just read you this line because it cracks me up so much. What if we get caught? Said Nathan. Then we know not to do this next time, said Rebecca bravely. Why on earth would there be a next time? For context, these kids are planning on sneaking onto the parents' holiday by climbing into their suitcase and sneaking aboard the plane. Why would there be a next time? So fun fact, at some point, I don't remember why, but my sister started writing part of this story, and the writing changes drastically. For the most part for the better because she was older and had a better sense of, you know, grammar than me. But this line is one of the worst things I have ever read. I am so sorry, Caitlin. What? He exploded, so loud that the dragons on Mars would have heard it. Rebecca laughed inside at her own joke. It's not even a joke. It's just like a really weird simile. So the parents reveal that they're going on a holiday to Chile. So in the same way that Rebecca is obsessed with dragons, Nathan is obsessed with the country Chile for some reason. I'm pretty sure Caitlin made up that part, so I can't justify it. Nathan is mad that the parents are going to this place that he's obsessed with without him, and kind of understandably, if your kid is obsessed with a place, you wouldn't go there without them. This whole family dynamic is really weird. So they go to drop the kids off at their evil grandmother's. Rebecca explains she hates going to her grandma's purely for the reason of she doesn't know what dragons are. So, you know, evil. I just had the revelation that even though this was like a grandma character, I pictured her as this character from Hotel for Dogs. I don't know why. When they get to the grandma's house, they find a note on the door that basically says the grandma went on her own holiday to avoid having to babysit the kids. Once again, weird family. So then they go to the Nan's house instead, and this Nan character reveals some pretty interesting information. She is going to help Nathan and Rebecca enact their plan because Chile is the closest country to Dragon Country. There's a lot to dissect here. Rebecca got her obsession with dragons from her Nan, who also told her all about Dragon Country. Also, why is it called Dragon Country? Can you just go there? Is it a super secret island? Like, can you just drop off? Can you get a flight to Dragon Country? What? According to my memory, the Nan was actually a dragon rider and she used to work with dragons. And so the reason that Rebecca's mum wanted Rebecca to shut up about dragons all the time was because she wanted to protect her from the world of dragons. So if you haven't figured out the plan already, Nan is going to distract the parents while the 2 kids sneak into the giant 2-person conveniently sized giant suitcase so they can sneak onto the plane. There are so many flaws to this. I had never been on an aeroplane before. I still haven't been on an aeroplane before, but I know now that airport security is a thing. And they put your suitcase through the little electronic x-ray thing and they would know there were 2 kids in there. So everything that happens in the next chapter isn't remotely possible. So now we're on the plane with Nathan and Rebecca tucked into the suitcase and sitting in the overhead luggage. I also didn't know that suitcases didn't get put there. I just assumed that they did. Rebecca's bored chilling out in the suitcase, and she decides to make a plan with Nathan for what happens if they get caught and have to escape. You'd think being in an airplane, they'd just be like, oh, well, there's nowhere to escape to, but you know. The unnecessary escape plan is once again the most bizarre thing ever. So, if they open it, we grab 2 parachutes and put them on. Then we jump out the plane. No one can stop us. I can't believe this came out of my own mind. To clarify, if they get caught, they are planning to parachute out of the plane. I don't even think they keep parachutes on a plane, let alone child-sized ones, let alone ones that are just like hung up on a wall like I pictured that you could just grab. Also, doors on aeroplanes aren't just left open, and you can't just go and open them and jump out. I didn't understand airplanes very clearly. Okay, back to the text. The dad suddenly and very conveniently remembers that he left his watch in the suitcase, and so he unzips the suitcase. And Rebecca decides they're gonna get caught, so it's time to enact her plan. They jump out the suitcase, grab 2 parachutes, they're chased around the plane, and then they jump out the plane. Do you see the problem here? Are you seeing the problem? There's many problems, but the main problem I'm concerned with right now, it never specifies that they put the parachutes on. Those kids are just gonna go splat. I'm sorry, those kids are dead. Now we arrive at chapter 4, falling. So you're all in suspense at this point. So the kids are falling and screaming, they're scared. Rebecca then suddenly sees land, and so they pull their parachutes and parachute onto this island that they can see. Now we're on the 5th chapter, and I know what you're thinking. Where the heck are the dragons? Because that's what I'm thinking. So they're just gonna walk around this place until they can find somebody to give them directions. Then they hear a terrifying roar in the distance. They heard an unknown creature that they could not see breathe. They both turned around quickly. There they saw a tree on fire. Hide, yelled Rebecca. Wowee, I wonder what this mysterious unknown creature would be. They are very clearly in Dragon Country at this point. And they've been walking around Dragon Country. You really want to tell me they're not gonna run into a dragon yet? Are there like 2 dragons on Dragon Country? Where are they all? So they go and hide in a cave, and Rebecca gets all excited because she finally uses that big brain energy of hers, puts the puzzle pieces together and realizes they're in Dragon Country. Then something enters the cave and a huge thundering voice calls out, "Come forward." Nathan's response to this is, "But we can't see you in the dark." Why that's relevant, I don't know. But then even weirder, the mysterious creature then says, "The girl will know." The girl will know how to step forward? What is this interaction? Rebecca steps forward towards the creature, and says, "I'm not going to hurt you." Honey, I don't think the dragon is worried about you hurting it. I think you should be worried about the dragon hurting you. Rebecca then puts a hand on the dragon, and the dragon breathes fire so that they can see him. And it's a nice little ordinary green looking dragon. And so they have a real casual introduction, no bewilderment, that, you know, there's a dragon talking to them. She tells the dragon her name and Nathan's name with no regard for stranger danger in the slightest. And the dragon's name is Drago. Pronounced Drago, not Drago, which is how my U2 teacher used to pronounce it. This dragon was actually a recurring character throughout all of my little creative writing projects in primary school. Then the dragon says, "We've been waiting for you." Is this a chosen one trope I sense? Someone who isn't afraid of dragons. Someone who can feel dragons in their presence. Someone who can destroy metal death. That was very dramatic, and good use of an afro for a kid. The idea that she can feel dragons' presence literally hasn't come up once. She was wandering around Dragon Country lost and couldn't even figure out she was in Dragon Country. I think you got the wrong girl. Now we're on the final chapter. Chapter 6, Drago's Tale. So there's not a lot of time, for some reason. Drago has a lot to explain. First, he introduces himself as a green-tailed dragon. but not a very popular one. Literally no one is liked in this story. No one likes him because he trusts humans. Basically, I ripped off the BFG because I love that book as a kid. So, you know how like the BFG helps the kids while all the other giants eat the kids? It's that kind of situation. Nathan and Rebecca are like, hey, what's wrong with liking humans, huh? Drago explains that dragons used to work with humans and have these people called dragon riders, like Rebecca's nan. But then there was a dragon keeper who was different. Jet. Jet was just like Rebecca, so practically useless in this fact that he could sense dragons' presence, even though Rebecca clearly can't do that. And he was responsible for a very special dragon with the worst name, which I saved to last. The dragon's name is White Charm. I hate it. I used a lot of color imagery as a kid, and of course, obviously, it had no ties to race. But when I look back and read it, I used a lot of black and white color imagery, and it comes off sometimes as a little weird. There is a total of 2 sentences left of this whole thing, and I can't pretend to understand them. White Charm was the last Capricorn left, said Drago. Capricorn? Stuttered Rebecca. And that's it. That's it. I don't know why the magic dragon breed was called Capricorn. I think I just heard the word and thought it sounded cool and had no idea it was a star sign. So that was a ridiculous mess. So this story featured an unhappy family, 2 children jumping out of a plane and committing suicide, and a dragon that appears for about 5 seconds. Incredible. I might just submit this for publication. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy this mess of a story which makes no sense. All of my old writing is like this, so if you want more from this series, make sure to interact with the video so that I know, and please give this video a like to help support the channel, and if you want to see more content from me, you can subscribe for all my future content, and if you want more of my videos recommended to you, you can stick around to the end screen. And that's all from me. Thank you once again for watching. Bye!